Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever, Whenever, the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. I am Robin.
No, I'm the Mentok, and we didn't clap this one off, so maybe we should clap now.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Sync clap, let's go.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, clap. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Should we go from there? Should I redo the intro? Or?
No, leave all of this in. Let all
Okay.
of them,
Okay, cool. Yeah.
everyone's going to be subjected to our mistakes.
Yes.
It is
Now-
the 21st episode of this podcast, so
We're
we're maturing into irresponsible adults right now.
Yes. I have beside me a shot of sake that was from this bottle that was given to me on my 21st birthday, which is when I quickly discovered that I hated alcohol and didn't want to drink it. So this is a good year and a half almost open bottle of sake that I have in a shot.
Yeah, the fact that it's still around speaks volumes.
Yes. What do you got?
So I have my favorite Jamaican rum called Appleton Estate. If you guys are spiced rum connoisseurs, fuck the Captain Morgan. Just hop straight to Appleton, which has grown very popular in the United States over the years. Normally you could only find it in areas with large Jamaican populations like New York and Miami and stuff, but now it's become quite the top shelf item. So don't overpay for it. Just make sure it's between $20 and $40 for a bottle. If it's anything more than that, then yeah, it's not worth it.
Alcohol is fucking expensive. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, once that whole delicacy factor comes in, this is the finest Jamaican rum. It's like, no, it's not. I mean, it is, but it's like, it's not that serious, man. You know, like I've been to certain bars where I'm just like, hey, do you have Appleton? Oh man, yeah, definitely, I love it. And then they reach for like the very, very top shelf, and I'm like, nah, we're good. Like, just give me the Captain Morgan. You're gonna overcharge me for this shit. So yeah. Anyway, that is what I have on deck. Normally, you don't shot this. Just as an FYI to people out there, if you're a real rum connoisseur, do not shot spiced rum. It's not meant for that purpose, but we're doing that today.
Yeah. So I have mine here too. This is gonna suck for me. Cheers.
This was your idea, by the way, for the record.
Yeah, it was my idea.
Just so everyone's not like, Mentok is always drinking on streaming. You got Robin to drink some shit.
Well, cheers to episode 21. Our boy is finally a man.
Our boy has become a man, and soon he's gonna be knocking up these women left and right, and then gonna be a deadbeat father, and then die a cold, lonely death at episode 65.
We're gonna have to bail him out of jail in episode 32.
Right, and then our kids are gonna have to find him after he left to buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Let's just take this shot.
All right, let's go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys for listening.
This smells awful. Oh, God.
Ugh, I'm already done. Fuck. Silent. Are you alive?
I took like a sip off the top.
Oh, come on.
We can't progress through the episode until I finish this whole fucking thing.
I just let everybody know I don't peer pressure anybody. But Robin, you have to like, it's part of the ritual. You have to do it.
Oh, God.
It's like two sides of the spectrum. I am not unfamiliar with liquor, and Robin just hates the taste of it, which I think is a great thing. That's a great trait to have.
Okay, here
He's
we
still
go.
recovering.
Second swig. Let's hope I get more.
Second swig. Sake, man. Have you tried other things? Hello?
Mm. Mm-mm.
Oh, man. Yo, every time I speak, he gags a little bit more.
Oh, fuck.
We good? You made it?
I just have a shot left. I'm not drinking any more of that. Oh, I'm not drinking any more of that. I almost threw up.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
All right, well, don't force it.
yeah.
This is episode 21. This is what we do. All day, every day.
Someone please animate me, like, suffering. Please.
Yeah, just, like, put a stick figure with its mouth opening wide, like, every time that he gags on I almost said stream, on video.
Oh, God, I'm cracking open my bag of shredded lettuce to try and wash that shit out of my mouth.
A bag of shredded lettuce. That's what you eat?
Yeah, what? You got a problem with the man eating straight bags of shredded lettuce?
Is there there's no nutritional value to lettuce as far as I know? Or is that wrong? Like, I feel like
the nutrition's fat say it has 10 calories per serving. And there's 1.5 cups in each serving.
it sounds like all water to me. Eat your veggies, though. Very important.
Yeah.
To our young listeners out there, if you can go, like, successfully vegan at a young age, you're in good shape.
Just
I would
don't
never
be a
knock
dick
any
about it.
vegans. Or vegetarians, for that matter.
Yeah.
I would never knock that. You have, like, so many less problems, and you're just gonna be compensating for a certain amount of things, but there's a lot of ways around that. So, just so you're aware.
God.
I'm not a dietitian or a fitness person by any means, but I support the movement.
I apologize to the leaf munching that'll be coming on my end, to both the audience and to Ricky, who has to suffer editing hearing munching noises.
Can we get someone who animates Robin gagging while I sit back, like, comfortably taking my shot, and he's like, his mouth increasingly gets wider every time he gags, and then as I speak about our next topic, just have him there eating shredded lettuce like a cow.
Yeah.
To satiate himself. In fact, instead of shredded lettuce, just make it straight up grass. So, like a rabbit. Like, he should eat it like a rabbit. Like, he should do the rabbit eat.
What you gotta do is you gotta draw me, like, pulling my mask down and then taking like a slight sip and then immediately dying and then going in for the second sip and like half the thing is gone at that point and then dying again and then just falling out of my computer chair into like a patch of grass next to me and just chewing on that.
Starts chomping to fill in the just to soak up all of that.
Yeah.
Sake. So while Robin chomps his grass, I know last episode I talked about turning red and not understanding what the premise was, aside from some middle school girl being turned into a red panda. I didn't really catch what it was about from, like, the trailer, aside from that. But I knew it was Pixar, and I put trust in Pixar to tell a good story. And I ended up watching it last night, and when I started it, I thought that... Have you seen Uncut Gems, Robin?
No, but I've heard of it.
You know how anxiety-inducing that movie is?
From what I've been told, yes.
Right. I heard that they did that on purpose, but, like, it's supposed to, like, keep you on edge the whole time. I think that, like, not in the same sense, but turning red gave me, like, anxiety at the very beginning because everything was so chaotic and frantic, like, at the very beginning, or, like, I guess for the first hour, that I thought about turning it off. And I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It was just, like, way too much happening. And I think that this was based... A lot of people are asking what that movie was, who was the target audience. And I think for Pixar, it's always everybody. And there's a few things that this movie did that I applaud it for. So, watching it, the main character is a... I think it was middle. It has to be middle school. It can't be elementary school. So like, it's a middle school kid or middle school girl, from the early 2000s actually, which I think is a great take because if we put it in perspective, we'd be about the same age. So, it really immerses itself in like this early 2000s culture, but also it's in Canada, which is in Toronto. So shout out to all our Canadian viewers. I said she's an Asian American girl yesterday or whenever we last recorded. I just dated this. But I said it was an Asian American girl. I was incorrect. She is an Asian Canadian, which I think is an interesting demographic to hit. So I was all about that, right? So this movie is mainly about family and growing up amongst family. And I think that it can speak to a lot of people, especially if you come from like a family of immigrants. I'm not saying it's exclusively that, but if you have like, family that is very hard on you or doesn't even realize that how much pressure they put on you growing up and stuff like that, I think regardless of whether you are, of Asian culture or, living in Toronto or a Canadian, I think it will speak to a certain extent because I know a lot of families go through this. And props to Disney for kind of tackling that family dynamic. It's not the very first movie that has done that. Recently, Encanto has been a very popular movie from Disney that explores Colombian culture. But what these movies do is really take the perspective of children who feel they have to live up to these ideals and goals that their families imprint on them, which I think is not something that we talk about a lot. Like I've seen this on Instagram all the time, like especially in like Black culture, for instance. Everybody kind of jokes about like the ass whoopings that they got growing up. And I think that it's kind of therapy, but also like it's supposed to be funny. It's always comedic in like a TikTok sense or something like that. But at the same time, these people are kind of airing out the shit that they went through as kids and is helping to like push people to be better parents. And maybe that's not the route that we should take to discipline children. And I'm actually glad that narrative's coming to the forefront in Disney movies. This movie is not about ass whoopings by any means, but it's about parents being way too protective or trying to vicariously live their childhood through that child. And I would say that this movie kind of nails that narrative. Not only is it about a young girl growing up, and there's like a lot of talk about, like there's period talk in this too, which is very progressive in a sense. I think that we should, that shouldn't be a stigma, for anybody, whether it's a male or female, even though as men we don't have to deal with it. You may raise a daughter at some point where you're going to have to deal with it. So, and it shouldn't be like this taboo talk or like, oh my God, I don't want to hear about that. So I've heard there's been some backlash. I'm sure that's not like sometimes there's a loud minority out there in Twitter that tends to come to the forefront from time to time. So I'm not going to say that this is something that's been a popular critique, but they do address that whole period talk for a bit. Like there's like a long drawn out scene where she's turning into the red panda and the mom thinks that it's her period that's coming until she actually sees the red panda. And so like, I remember yesterday I was wondering whether it's like a metaphor for that, but I think it's a metaphor for that and a bunch of other things. And throughout the movie, you start to see like just regular issues that kids go through, like growing up. Like you're around your friends and you're a certain way, and you're different around your friends than you are with your family. And sometimes it's hard to cope with that. And it's hard to show that side of yourself to your family to the point where they probably don't even believe that you're that way. Like a lot of that stuff is baked into this movie. So I think the narrative is very good, and I think that the message is good. And overall, like it's a very gorgeous movie. There's a couple of songs in there that slap too. So like 2000 boy bands, if you're a fan of those. I'm low-key like a Backstreet Boy fan now that like I'm older and shit. I will gladly say that. Like I actually like some of their songs. I'm not even gonna lie. But I think it addresses like a lot of those things, and I think that it was very well done. So I I'd say it's worth a watch. I think Pixar does Pixar things, even if sometimes like all of their movies are not bangers. I think that the message that they put out there, like, is always pretty damn good. And I don't feel like it was a waste of my time, even though it was very anxiety inducing in the beginning. I think that they intentionally did that to kind of get into the world of a young girl, experiencing these difficulties in life and stuff like that. So that's kind of my review. I'll give it like an 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty well done.
It sounds much better than The Good Dinosaur, which makes me hope that it makes more money than The Good Dinosaur did, because I love that movie. That was such a bad movie.
You know, that's the only Pixar movie I'd never watched.
You don't need to. I don't even remember the story about it. It's just that forgettable.
They don't even acknowledge the big dinosaur anymore. I mean, is that the good dinosaur? They don't even acknowledge the good dinosaur anymore for whatever reason. So
It landed with no one. No one liked it.
well,
Yeah. It's
sometimes you have your hits and your misses, and I think that was the miss. But this one is definitely not it. I've seen people praising it, and don't listen to the vocal minority. Like, there's a lot of very important there's important discussions from this movie, I think. Even though I don't like the main character's voice actor, it got a little annoying at times. It sounds like an older lady trying to sound young, and that's not cool.
Yeah, audiences don't seem to really be interested in this movie, though, because it's like it has a budget of like $175 million, and so far it's only made back $4 million. I just looked that up earlier.
Yeah, so what I heard was that it was denied a theatrical release. So we said that I asked if it was in theaters yesterday, and we said it was. It has a limited run in theaters. I don't know why that was chosen, because if the Marvel side of things is like, we'll see you at the movies, and you have Spider-Man that's only in theaters, like, I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Let me see here. I'm reading the wiki right now. Okay, so after a special screening that took place in London on February 21st, Turning Red had its world premiere on March 1st and was released on Disney Plus streaming service March 11th, along with simultaneous limited runs at specific theaters in the US and in United Kingdom. And then it was released theatrically in most countries without Disney Plus. Okay, so yeah. It's very limited, right? And then it's only released theatrically in countries that don't have Disney Plus.
Huh.
So it's like a very odd release, because I just don't know what Disney's stance is on theatrical releases these days. Because it was a similar thing to Black Widow, like, and Black Widow released like kind of peak COVID time, where it was only on Disney Plus, and then, they had that whole issue with Scarlett Johansson where she sued them because streaming revenue was not in her contract or whatever. And then they like cut the theatrical release, and it was like mostly streaming revenue. So I don't know. Like, it's a very weird climate, right? Like, I think a lot of movie theaters or studios are going through this right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I still have the taste of that awful fucking drink in my mouth.
This man is still recovering. Oh, shit.
You know what's gonna happen is, like, Matt or Hal Cryer or someone's gonna listen to this episode, and then they're just gonna send me, like, one of those Virgin and Chad memes, and it's gonna have, like, me as the virgin who can't handle any alcohol, and then it's gonna have you, like, as this alcoholic chugging down Jamaican spiced rum.
Oh man, I would love that.
Yeah.
By the way, to put a cap on our conversation, I said that I did not like the voice actor for the main character. It turns out that she's actually 16. Okay, she's playing a 13-year-old, but she sounds. I will chalk it up to inexperience. I'm not saying that she did a bad job. It's just, I don't know, the delivery was a little off sometimes. But her name is Rosalie Chiang. and she's Singaporean Taiwanese American actress, and I think this was her first big role. So, shout out to her for doing that. I'm not like knocking the voice. It just I got used to it after a while, but initially it was rough. It was hard to get through. And I I said that she sounded older cuz she did. It sounded like she was putting on like some voice, but I guess like maybe that's just the voice that she went with. But yeah, she's a 16-year-old, so they casted pretty on the nose, and I think there was a lot of other like popular Asian actors that were casted for the role, so they kind of kept it within. Remember back in the day they used to cast like a lot of white people for animated roles for people that were not white.
Yeah.
I think Disney has stopped doing that now. So I think it's a good choice. There's a lot of Asian American inclusion, or just Asian in general.
Yeah. That's good. I'm sorry I didn't talk at all during that segment. I'm just I don't know much about this topic other than the box office revenue, and B, holy shit, that drink is awful.
Has the lettuce helped?
A little.
Well, keep chewing your lettuce. Your lettuce.
I've torn through like half a bag of shredded lettuce. Thank you, Kroger brand shredded iceberg lettuce. Washed and ready to eat. No preservatives, perishable, keep refrigerated. Best by March 22nd. What day is it? Okay, good. It's the 15th.
We're good. We have time. We have until next week. I was gonna say, if that's veggies, man, you better hope. Bro, there's nothing that smells worse in a fridge than rotting veggies.
Oh, dude. True. It's like that it's like that meme of like the dude with like the like zombie face looking like really depressed, and it's like the vegetables I bought 3 months ago and haven't touched since watching me pull the pizza rolls out of the fridge.
You guys have no idea how guilty I am of like going to the supermarket like, yeah, I'm gonna cook everything this week, and you buy like a ton of food for that week and that week only. Like even like the meats, I'll get like a couple of meats for the week and then like a bunch of veggies, and then if you don't cook it that week, you're not cooking it the next week. And if you're not cooking it the next week, then it's rotten after that. Mm-hmm. So fuck your money. And then the meats, since you have nothing to cook it with, is going to sit in your freezer and freezer burn to death. And when you do decide to cook it, it's going to taste awful and watery. So that's the life. Where are my college students at? Leave some comments in the comments section below. This shot's getting to me. I already feel it.
This is gonna be a fun episode. I'm gonna be bitching about the half a shot that I drank, and you're gonna be like completely wasted off of one shot.
There surprisingly, like there are days where just alcohol will hit me differently than other days. It's just it's not even dependent on anything. It's just random.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I like just fuck. I like took a like this thing. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Is this what being drunk is like?
Is it hitting you? I mean, you can even finish a shot, man. I don't care what your tolerance is. You're fine. It's the lettuce. It's the alcohol content in the lettuce.
Alcohol content in the lettuce. Like halfway through a bag of shredded lettuce, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling the alcohol now, baby.
I swear, that's what it is. Has to be.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I remember like way back in the old streams, like when you first started and you just would just live it up all the time. there was like a few of them where like it felt like the alcohol just didn't affect you at all until like 2 hours in.
Yeah. That was a problem actually, because like So I'll tell you one thing. Like when you're streaming, there's a certain amount of adrenaline. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I have that still, but when you first start, like anytime that you're on stream, you're just like, man, I got to make sure that I keep this shit up and I'm always entertaining. It, I think it pulls like a bunch of hormones that I can't identify into your system where you are keeping up this thing. Like it's not drugs, but it's just like you're just there. And like when you're trying to keep that image up and you're trying to stay as entertaining as possible, like, I don't know, your body kicks in.
Yeah.
And I think when I did my first few streams, like I was trying to like put on this format where people had this incentive to engage, not necessarily donate, but just engage. So I would take shots for no reason. I would take shots for like the next comment. I would like pick times where I would just do shots.
I remember that.
Right, like I didn't necessarily need a donation or anything. It'd be like certain like stupid things like, oh, like, yo, shout out to this guy for being around for this long and blah 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 and checking out that video. I appreciate you. I'm gonna take a shot in your honor.
Yeah, you
and
did
like,
that to me like a couple times.
yeah, and like that's not me being fake or anything. Like I just wanted to like get more engagement, and like at the same time, like I, in a normal sense, I'm very socially awkward. And people wouldn't necessarily believe that. Like, I think that's kind of, I've kind of curved that a little bit more because I've had this channel for a long time. And like, honestly, if you guys have like social issues, I would say just start a channel because then that shit will deal with it real quick, in my opinion. I'm not saying that I was like this awkward person that nobody wanted to be around, but like, maybe introverted is the right word because anytime I went out, it was very exhausting dealing with people. And in a very similar sense, like I would have like certain like adrenaline that would hit me just to keep up conversation and be interesting. And I for the most part, I didn't fail at that because I knew like what it took to be interesting. But it took a lot out of me, like socially and mentally. And, I think that when I went out, like having like some rum and cokes here and there, it would, much like everyone else, like if you drink socially, you're doing it just to kind of like dull those senses and feel less awkward. So I kind of did that on stream for two reasons, to like be engaging and edgy, but at the same time, I wanted to like similarly dull those senses until it just became natural. Like all of a sudden now, like I don't have to do it on stream to feel comfortable. Like, but initially I was doing those things and all of those hormones hit. And I think with all those mixtures and you're there drinking, you don't even realize how fucked up you are until like toward the end, or until like you finish the stream and you're like, man, I am totally wasted right now. And there's times where I've like felt that way and people would never notice on stream. They'd be like, man, you look a little tipsy, but you're holding it together. And there's times where I've just like completely like at the moment I hit end stream, I am like, I need to call out of work. I need to do this. I need to do that because I am fucked. So,
yeah.
It's crazy. Like I've gotten a lot better at curving that now because I don't do it randomly anymore.
I think
if someone donates, I'll still do it, and I know like my threshold. I know what I can handle. I used to have people in the chat like, Mentok, don't drink anymore. You know this. I'm like, yo, I'm a grown ass dude, man. Like, if I choose to like do this, it's fine. Trust me. I'm not gonna be throwing up on stream. I'm not damaging myself. Like, trust me. I know when to call it quits because I've done that on stream before. Where I'm like, nah. After this is it. Like, I need like a couple of hours or whatever. So, it's always within my means. So I'm just letting you guys know if you decide to take like a similar avenue, don't abuse it. Just know your limits. And if you don't want to take that avenue, don't force yourself to do it either. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, you should never force yourself to do anything. Unlike how I'm about to force myself to down the rest of this shot.
21st episode, bro.
Give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1. 10. He did it. Sounds like he's being tied to a chair and tortured. It's like, Vinny, Show this man what happens when when we don't talk around here. Tell us who took the drugs. And you have him like gagging and carrying on in the background. You all know that Grand Theft Auto 5 scene. That's not what I was imitating. But, like, everybody knows that scene.
Oh, that's awful, but the whole shot is done, so none of you are allowed to call me a pussy.
Hey.
Oh,
it's funny because like Discord has you like your mic cutting in and out, so you guys are gonna hear the full audio of him gagging and carrying on, and on my end I'm just hearing bits and pieces of it.
God, that's
great.
Awful. I hope I never have to do that shit again. Fuck that.
Content.
Like and subscribe. Donate money to my Ko-Fi. Do it now.
Is it Ko-Fi? I thought it was coffee.
It's coffee, Ko-Fi, whatever the fuck. Who cares?
I thought coffee was, a little bit more clever, but don't yell at me.
Oh, God, it hurts. It's like, it's not even that it burns. It just tastes awful. It's like genuinely just the taste is horrendous. Oh, God.
Have you, like, I think I asked, but you were gagging before. Have you tried, like, newer stuff?
Like stuff with fruits in it?
No, like, just other things in general. Like, maybe sake is just not the thing for you.
Yeah, I've been told that, too. I've been told that, like, I might like sweeter stuff, and I've had, like, a little bit of, like, what's it called? The one that you always showed back in the day.
White Claw.
White Claw. I had a little bit of that, like, before, like, a little sip of it, and I didn't hate it. But, every other alcohol I've tried I haven't liked. Like, my dad gave me a sip of beer. I hated it. Mom gave me a sip of red wine. Hated it.
Maybe it's just not for you. That's...
It's just, oh, God, it's genuinely the worst. Oh, God.
Either way, I'm not pushing you. I'm just saying, like, maybe sake is not your thing, but...
We're going to get so many comments being like, it's because you had it straight. You're supposed to heat it up or chill it. And it's like, shut up. I don't care.
Don't alienate our only few comments that we would get for this video. Hi, guys. I'm the nice one, okay? So leave whatever abusive comments you want. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that either.
I need more lettuce.
Well, eat your lettuce. I guess in the gaming world, we haven't talked about games at all today, have we?
No, we haven't.
Interesting. All right, so, I should bring this up because there's a lot of hype around it, and, J.K. Rowling is always trending, like, every week. So let's throw her into the conversation. But there's a Harry Potter game coming out called Hogwarts Legends, created by Avalanche Studios, another great band name. Avalanche. Hey, we're Avalanche, and we're going to blow up your reactors. That was a Final Fantasy VII joke. But yeah, they're known for the Just Cause series, that Mad Max game that was actually trended for a while, and I've heard is like a pretty decent game. I haven't had a chance to play it. But those are like a couple of the titles that they're responsible for, and they are the ones in charge in tandem with Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment for creating a new Harry Potter MMO. Let me double check that. I don't even know there's a wiki. There's no wiki page for this yet. Have you seen like people slacking on wikis these days? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I think they're falling out of style. Or something.
Wiki pages? Yeah, like sometimes I'll Google shit and it takes like, it's like the 10th thing on Google before it's like the wiki page.
Yeah. Or like fan wikis at the very least. Because they're all
frustrating to me.
It's because they're all owned by Fandom, that network, and no one likes their company. So no one wants to use their sites.
I just know they always ask me for money.
Yeah. That's the
I
main-
don't. I donated one time, but I hate the way that they write those messages. Like, "Hey, Mentok, you use Wikipedia all the time, don't you? Then why the fuck are you not donating to our cause? If everybody donated 1 penny, we would have enough to run Wikipedia for 10 years. So why aren't you doing it? You broke bitch. Why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
I'll send you an email too. I realized that you donated to us before, and that was very kind of you. But we're gonna ask you again. And again. And again. Anyway, that's kind of how I feel whenever they like send me messages.
The yearly eBay. I mean, not to knock Wikipedia. They do good work, but
No, they do great work.
Yeah.
I just think the delivery could be a little bit different. It's like it's written. I don't know. I feel like a psychologist writes that shit because it seems very manipulative sometimes.
Yeah.
It really does. I don't know. Like, I love the work that Wikipedia does, but come on, bro. Really? Like, you know, maybe I should like just read word for word what Wikipedia puts like on my stream, and I'll see if I get more donations that way.
You should do it. See if that works. Social experiment. Game theory.
You've watched hours and hours of my content. If each of you donated $1, I would have enough money to manage this channel for 2 more days. Get your shit together. Anyway, Hogwarts Legacy. So, Hogwarts Legacy is an upcoming action role-playing video game set in the late 19th century. So, I think this is before Harry Potter's age. I know nothing about like the extended Harry Potter world. I know everybody watches like those legendary beasts and how to train them or whatever, how to train the dragon.
Beasts.
Fantastic beasts and how to
And
catch
where
them.
to find them. Where to find them.
Right. It's where to find them?
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Because it was based on a spin-off book that J.K. Rowling wrote in like a year or so, and was
Yeah,
like,
I know about that book. It was it's the tiniest book, so I don't understand how there's like 4 movies based on around that.
because J.K. Rowling is writing the movies.
Say what you will about her, but she cannot be toppled in my
She
opinion.
knows-
I'm not
she knows
supporting
how
her
to milk-
views on anything,
She
but
knows
like
how to milk a franchise until it's a corpse.
right, everyone's trying to cancel her based on like the things that she feels about trans rights
She's
and things
such
like
an
that.
awful
And
person.
yeah, like it's not gonna happen though. Like she's just already just. That's what like It's the same argument that I brought up a couple podcasts ago. Like these freaking people that are billionaires are untouchable. They're so hard to get rid of, and I don't mean in like a murderous way. I just mean in general. Like, you know, like they could do the worst things ever, Bobby Kotick, and they're like scot-free.
We need,
You know, like
we need like IRL vigilantes like Batman or some shit.
right. Like honestly, they could like delay a court case until they're dead.
Yeah.
You know? So like what even if I'm in serious trouble, I'll just delay the court case until I die until I'm dead. I lived my life. So what do I have to lose? I don't know, man. It's awful. And a lot of these people just go unchecked because they have the money to throw around. J.K. Rowling is one of them. Like she created such a huge world to work with that like honestly people are going to keep milking it whether it's her idea or Warner Brothers, and you're just supporting her indirectly. It's just good. Like unless you cancel Harry Potter in general, I know some people are like at a crossroads of whether they should just support Harry Potter and all that. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm like,
you know, even if you didn't, it's not going to go anywhere. It's one of those things like if you're trying to prevent climate change by being vegan and bringing down meat sales, I'm not saying it does nothing, but it's going to take, like, collectively a lot of fucking people to make that happen.
yeah,
you know?
like, I mean, like, take me for example. I have been, like, essentially boycotting Activision and EA for, like, almost my entire life because I learned pretty quickly that they were, like, shitty companies, and I didn't like most of their games. And they're still in business. Me being someone who doesn't buy their games hasn't changed the fact that they're still multi-million-dollar companies.
And you know what's worse, Robin?
What?
You and I both, we don't play Activision games. I haven't actively boycotted Activision. I just haven't bought an Activision game in a long time. Like, nothing that they make really interests me. So I'm indirectly boycotting them, right? But, and Blizzard, both sides.
Oh yeah, no. I think whatever's out there every day that I never became a Blizzard fan.
But like there, the harsh reality is that the two of us here say that we don't buy those games. And then you see the headlines, Activision makes more money this year than any other year in gaming.
Yeah.
So like, how I mean, honestly, I'm not saying that boycotting is pointless or whatever. I'm not trying to sound pessimistic about things, but like, if you choose to take that stance, their marketing team will just replace you with 100 more people, if not 1,000. And it kind of sucks that that's the way that goes, I guarantee next year, Activision is probably going to see like record sales. It's going to dip a little bit, but now that like Microsoft bought it, that's the best PR option that they could have ever gotten. Is that, oh, well, this better company that we see in a better light bought this old company, so everything's all good. And I think that move stopped their sales from completely tanking. So anyone who decided, oh, I'm gonna boycott it, now that it's under new management, everything's all right and all good now. So I think that's what that's the case. It's sad, but that's what I see happening.
Yeah, it really sucks. It's why I don't like anything that's Harry Potter related, because I don't want to support J.K. Rowling, even though I grew up with those books, like, essentially. Like, same with the movies. I grew up watching the movies and reading the books, and it sucks, but I don't want to support J.K. Rowling because I don't respect her. And
shout out to Daniel Radcliffe, by the way, who is like branching out as an actor.
Yeah, shout outs to him. He's pretty good.
He has range.
Yeah. Didn't he play he played like a corpse once for an entire movie, didn't he? In
Was that that movie with the horns?
Swiss Army Man, I think.
Oh no, that's different. He came out with a movie recently that a lot of people are saying he really like put his acting chops out there. And I'm glad that he kind of broke out of that stereotype. Like, he'll always be Harry Potter in everybody's eyes, but like, I'm glad that he's chosen to do some like breakout roles to kind of like combat that, because you're gonna have to do that, especially when you're a child actor. So I think that he did a pretty good job. But yeah, to your point, J.K. Rowling has said some awful stuff and doubled down on a lot of awful stuff. Honestly, I was a huge Harry Potter fan like as a child, because like the books were releasing as I was like growing up and stuff. And then I kind of like fell off the books and just watched the rest in the theater. And then from there, I haven't really like engaged much. There are like a lot of people are like, oh, what house are you in? I have Hufflepuff socks, because everyone who like asks anything questions about anything Harry Potter is always a Hufflepuff for some reason.
Yeah.
And there's another like portion of it where like I always do that stupid quiz and I always come out as Gryffindor, and everybody hates the fact that I'm chosen as Gryffindor, and I don't understand that sentiment either. It's like very similar to like zodiac signs and things like that, where people have this predetermined notion of you because you're born under a certain sign or whatever.
Yeah.
But this game is in development.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so let me just throw out because a teaser came out, and a lot of people are like looking forward to this, because I think that like some type of open world, I hate to say that, some open world, I guess open world in a sense like Hogwarts itself. Like, I've always wanted to explore Hogwarts and walk around, and I think a lot of the early like Harry Potter PlayStation games did a good job at that. So like right now, like Hogwarts Legacy is this game where you can pick the house that you want to join, and you would attend classes, and it's giving me like this Persona feel, You know, I think that's like what drew me to Persona 3 in the first place. It's like, oh my gosh, I get to live a normal life, which wasn't in a lot of RPGs growing up. Like, you're always this fantastical knight in medieval times that was taking down some type of dark enemy. I think Persona was the first game that made me feel like I could really relate, like on a very like day-to-day level, you know. So I think a lot of people kind of want to experience the same thing, like what if I was a wizard and stuff like that, even though like it's a little bit more fantastical than, like, I don't know, it's like Persona where it has that balance. There's like a lot of fantasy, but at the same time it's believable that you're this normal person in this school environment doing these things. So people will be able to like create their own wizard and really get into that without Harry Potter, like, or the plot of Harry Potter, like conducting the day-to-day stuff. And I think it's a great idea on, you know, WB's part, and they have like an interesting studio working on this, so like it's kind of being hyped up now.
I won't play it, but it sounds pretty cool. Is my takeaway from that. You know, like it sounds like something I would have loved to play when I was younger and before we found out that J.K. Rowling was such a bitch.
Now, okay, so what we need to find out and bring to the table is how much money is J.K. Rowling getting in royalties from this?
Probably a lot.
So as I'm looking at this wiki page, by the way, too, I think this is a very interesting thing to bring up. The main article on here from Bloomberg, by one Jason Schreier, says Harry Potter video game will allow transgender characters.
Fuck you, J.K. Rowling.
So I don't know, you know, like, she's not directly involved, so they say. But you kind of wonder if that's just like kind of to save face, because it's easy to say, okay, well, I mean, I believe that she's not involved, but no one's talking about the royalties there. So I think WB is trying to separate this game as much as possible from J.K. Rowling, and that's why they're actively putting in transgender characters. So I don't know. I honestly think it's a marketing move.
Well, even still, I think it's better that it's there than it's not there, I guess.
I agree. I'm not taking away from that whatsoever. Like, it's best to take that route, whether it's a marketing move or not. And I'm glad that they did that very early, because this was talked about like way, way back when this was first announced, which was already, September 2020? It's been that long.
Jesus.
But it's slated for a 2022 release. Honestly, I think that's going to be bumped to next year. I always think whenever I don't see a date or a month in that particular year, it's safe to say it's going to be bumped to the next year.
Yeah. Also, I want to briefly mention this because you were talking earlier and I didn't want to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
You are not allowed to leave out the Lego Harry Potter games that let you fully explore Hogwarts. Those count.
Those do count. Lego games kill it. Like, I don't know. Those, I think,
no
like,
right to be as good as they are. Like, sure, they're kids games, but like a lot of them are really good.
the comedy is always on point too. Like, I don't know. I think that's just like whoever writes those things. Shout out to the Skywalker saga coming out. Like, if for those who are wondering whether it's like a just remake of all the Star Wars games, it's not. Like, it's just being a game that's reworked entirely to tell the whole like Skywalker story.
Yeah, and like for those of you who like don't know, like before they didn't have like the voice clips from or like clips from the movies that they would use, and so it was all like grunts and stuff and like their own physical comedy and all that. But like even when they started using the clips from the movies, they still like managed to like mix them up and add their own twists to them. Like I think the best one is that I can think about off the top of my head is the Lego Jurassic World, where like they had like all of the Jurassic Park movies represented in that. You know that infamous scene in Jurassic Park 3 where like
The cell phone's ringing in the poop.
no. The guy falls asleep on the plane. I forget his name. He's like the main character from the first movie, and he comes back in the third movie.
Oh, Alan.
Yeah, Alan. He falls falls asleep on the plane, and he has a nightmare, and this horrible velociraptor like looks him in the eyes and says, "Alan."
Yeah, Alan.
And like
Alan.
yeah, like in the Lego version, they recreate that, but they make it more comedic by having like other like velociraptors dressed up as like characters from the first movie show up alongside it. So you have the first one that goes Alan, and then you have like the one with like the woman's hair in like the ponytail, and she goes Alan, and then like one that looks like Jeff Goldblum pops up and says Dr. Grant.
Yeah, those Lego games, honestly, like, I think that the Skywalker saga, like, that's coming up is probably going to be the best version of the Star Wars series that you can get right now. So I would say go support that. I might get that too. Yeah. If you're like a couple or and stuff like that, it's great for like couples to play co-op and things like that too. Like I've read that all over Reddit, because there's not that much engagement. So if you were with someone who's not very good at video games and stuff like that, those are good avenues to kind of get them involved and stuff. And great for families and children, like to parents to play alongside kids. Like, so you can't go wrong with Lego, in my opinion.
You really can't. Yeah. Lego games are good games. Video
By
games.
the way, so regarding the Hogwarts thing, like the teaser that they dropped today was literally just a student getting out of bed in his dorm. He's wearing his robes in bed. I don't know why. He gets out of bed and then it says like March 17th state of play. So I think I'm looking at the PlayStation Twitter, and it doesn't seem like they announced a state of play, but it looks like there's a state of play on Thursday.
Huh.
So
weren't we talking about that last night?
No. Because we did that a few podcasts ago, because there was a state of play that that one already happened, and it kind of died like a slow death. No one really cared about what was going on in that state of play. But apparently there's another one.
Okay. So there's another state of play happening right after the last one?
Yeah, and for some reason, WB Games Avalanche were the ones to announce it, because it's not on the PlayStation Twitter.
Huh.
So maybe it's like exclusively for Hogwarts Legacy, which I think is a PlayStation exclusive for a while. I don't know.
Interesting.
Let me confirm that. No, it's not a PlayStation exclusive. So maybe it's like a timed exclusive. I don't know. That would be a dumb move.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's interesting. Kind of weird.
What do you think about teasers for the trailer? I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Like 3-second clips. Get ready for a trailer on Thursday.
I think they're the stupidest trend in movies, and I hate that they're coming over to video games.
Yeah. It's so dumb.
I've hated.
Just show the trailer.
Yeah,
that's
just
what
show the fucking trailer. It's like it pissed me off when they did it with like all the Marvel movies, where they would show like a 3-second clip from like the upcoming Ant-Man trailer, and then the next day we'd get the full trailer, and it'd be like, well, what's the fucking point? Just give us the full trailer, you know?
Also, have you noticed that trailers for movies have that 3-second clip at the beginning before the trailer starts?
Yeah, they did that with the Sonic trailer that we talked about yesterday, and I hated it.
It's not just the Sonic trailer. It's just like everything now. Like,
yeah, it's like
do we have such low attention spans that little 3-second clip is going to... then maybe you should watch this. If I'm clicking play, more than likely, like, I'm interested in what the trailer is in general. I don't know if that has worked.
Maybe it's for, like, when they play it on, like, videos as ads. Like, they put that little bit there so that way the person watching the video doesn't want to skip or something, and they want to sit there and watch the full trailer.
That's a good point.
Maybe. That might be what it is.
That's a good point. But even still...
Yeah.
You know, that is probably exactly it, Robin, now that I think about it. I think that's exactly it.
I don't know. I use AdBlock.
Yeah, I've subscribed to YouTube Premium for how many months now? Or years. I guess like when I started it, I'm just like, oh, this is so great. The ads got so bad. So my apologies to anyone that like experiences that.
Yeah, no, like I remember like YouTube back in the day where it was like it was like, okay, you get like one 15-second ad every now and then. Now it's like you get 2 ads on every single video.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you let YouTube manage it, they're gonna screw your whole channel up.
Yeah.
which I've done.
Yeah. It's all good. Oh, fuck.
All right, so want to take us home?
Yeah, for sure. I have to pee. All right. That's going to be it for today's episode, everyone. Episode 21. The worst episode.
I mean, it was the worst. It was the worst for you.
Yeah, it was the worst for me. I think you did more talking than I did in this episode.
Just like if anyone decides to animate all 57 minutes of this podcast, just have Robin suffering for ages.
Yeah,
while as I talk. So just have me sitting like in some red armchair with my book open, like going through all the things that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Calmly with like an empty shot glass beside me, and just have like
have me like writing
Robin on the floor
on the
gasping for air and just coughing up like projectiles of vomit.
Oh God.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. Next episode will be better.
We promise.
We promise. All right. See you
Also,
all later. Oh wait.
By the way, I know that you guys are watching, and if every single one of you donated $1 to us, we would have enough money to keep this podcast going for 1 more hour. So, all right, I'm done.
All right.
Take us home for real.
Okay. Thank you all for watching episode 21. We will see you all later.
Peace.